But that's basically my question: is what is the change here? They're trying to force Wiseman, and Wiseman is not showing any confidence in himself whatsoever. He looks so scared out there. Not scared of the other team or scared of the physicality. He just looks scared to make a mistake. Like he
And
just
scared to
doesn't
get
want to
taken
make
out. Yep.
he doesn't want to make a mistake. He knows that he had 3 fouls in, what was it, 6 minutes in one of the games, on one of the recent games, and he's always looking toward the bench. That's one thing I remember. You always knew the bad players when you were in high school, because they would get in, and the second there was a stop and play, they're looking at the coach going, "Am I coming out? No, dude, you're playing. Like, stop looking at." Like, that's Wiseman. He's like looking at the coaches to see if he's coming out or not. There has been flashes of him where he had a block in, I think it was in the Hornets. It was the Hornets game. Who's the leaper for the Hornets who tried to clear Wiseman out, and Wiseman still blocked it? He was like a dunk champion like 3 years ago.
Bridges isn't on the team.
No. It was it was yeah, he was like a dunk champion like 3 or 4 years ago, but he used to play for the Thunder, I think, but he hasn't.
I don't remember. Oh, I don't. I think we might be thinking of different people, but Theo Maledon is on the Hornets, I believe, but he was on the Thunder.
Maybe it was the Pistons. It could have been. It was either the Hornets or the Pistons. I don't
Oh,
remember
Diallo.
exactly. Yeah. That's who it was.
Yeah.
And so you see that, and I'm like, yeah, like go up and get that basketball. And then today you have a play, and I know Kawakami tweeted that it was more Curry's fault, and Curry bailing out on the rebound didn't help. But who's the guy who scored all those points in the first quarter for Orlando today?
Was it Chuma Okeke?
Yeah. So Wiseman, who's a head taller than this dude, shot goes up. Wiseman gets position, and he gets fouled. The other guy fouls Wiseman going for the rebound.
Yep.
But all Wiseman's going to do is just, get wide. That guy cannot jump over him. And Wiseman just kind of allows it to happen. And then I think that's when he threw the basketball.
No.
That was not the same one?
So I think the play you're talking about is when we were on offense and Wiseman got the rebound and got the putback, but he got called for a foul. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I think it's a different play. This is so Steph is supposed to come over, and basically Wiseman is clearing out the defender so that Steph can sneak in and get the rebound. Steph just doesn't, like, he just does. Yeah, again, maybe he's tired, but he just doesn't attack. Yeah. And so the rebound's there for him to be had, but then Wiseman, there's no Steph, so he's battling, and the guy.
No, that was frustrating because I just know, maybe you're not on this side of Twitter, but I feel like I'm kind of on the Toxic Warriors fan base side of Twitter, and I just know they're coming for Wiseman's head at every single error he makes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he did the one on offense, I was like, I got to see that again because that didn't look like a foul. And I know you're talking about a different one, but I looked back at it and I was like, man, like, yeah, he did not foul there. That was the other guy fouling him, if anything. And that was annoying. And that was frustrating to watch the ref call that. It's because that clearly wasn't him, clearly taking a hit out his confidence too. And then it was maybe very soon after they had everyone spaced out. So there was no one in the paint. So Wiseman had to play up. I believe he got switched on to Franz. Someone takes a three. No one really crashes. So Wiseman's kind of spreading out across the left side of the court. No one's crashing except for Steph's guy who was on the corner, who starts crashing, and Steph decides to run all the way through the baseline and not get the rebound. The other guy gets the rebound. Wiseman fouls him. Was it an and one? It was an and one, I think, right? But that's the one where, I was like, watching that at real time. I watched that 3 times because, again, I know people are going to come at his head for that one. But I was like, man, that's Steph's fault. The one guy who didn't get boxed out was Steph's guy. Steph also runs through and doesn't grab the rebound.
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that is. And you look at Steph on that possession, if you keep an eye on him after the foul, he's raising his hand and he's like, has his hand on his head because he knows that Wiseman's about to get frustrated about this and it was his fault. And Wiseman grabs the ball and throws it against the hoop, gets a tech, and goes to the side of the bet, gets pulled out, goes down, and you tell he's pissed, and he takes it all out on Ryan Rollins' hand.
and
you can see him cursing.
If he was just more aggressive going for those rebounds, I think even if he causes a foul, in those scenarios, I think they can live with that because he needs to be aggressive. He's only averaging 4 rebounds a game. Now, he's
Mhm.
not playing a ton, but a way for him to stay on the court is to grab rebounds. If he's grabbing rebounds and they're not allowing for extra possessions, he's not going to come out of the game. No matter, no matter how much he hedges on defense, and like if he can do one thing very well, he will stay on the court. Because what's the flip side? The flip side is that Looney has to play more, which means Looney may get in more foul trouble. Or who plays the 5? If you're telling me that Jamichael is playing the 5, then I know that we're just going to get out rebounded.
Mhm.
If Kuminga's got to play the 5, probably maybe you get something on the other end because he's so athletic, he beats the other center down the court. But he's got to force himself. He's got to force the coach's hand to stop taking him out. The silly fouls are one thing that's going to happen, but he's got to do one thing well. Every shot that goes up, I want him to be like Patrick Ewing at Georgetown and just try and block everything.
Mhm.
Because even if he's out of position, at least he's showing aggression, and maybe the team's got to go, oh, we can't, this guy's gonna erase a shot. We gotta be careful. But they don't. They just want to dunk on the guy. Like that's everyone tries to do is
Mhm.
dunk on Wiseman because they know he's not aggressive. He's not going to hammer you and put you on your ass. This is not the player that he is now. I would like to see more aggression from him. If he could if he could grab 6, 7 rebounds a game, I guarantee you he's playing more than 14 minutes. So that's just my frustration with him.
Yeah.
'Cause,
And
we can say it all we want, right? He has so much talent. Everyone says that. But until you show it and until you stop uh, thinking so defensively, like that you don't want to make mistakes, we could see it in his face like that. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn there. I think we can see that in his face that he's so afraid to make a mistake
Mhm.
that he's a very passive player right now.
Yeah, I would say there's like 4 things that I could feel like I've seen on the court that could pinpoint maybe why he's not playing that great. And 2 of them seem like a hard fix, and the other 2 seem like an easier fix. But one of them is, we've mentioned on this podcast that Draymond, the reason he's still able to be so good even after losing athleticism is that he's almost like 0.1, 0.2 seconds ahead of everything
Mhm.
instinctually. And so he's able to play ahead of everyone and make up for his lack of athleticism and his
Nobody's gonna surprise him. He knows
lack of
everything that's
size.
coming.
He's just so smart. Wiseman, on the other hand, is like 0.3 or 0.4 seconds behind everything. And you could almost think like, okay, maybe he'll make it up with his size, but he doesn't. So maybe he's even further behind that on the play. And another thing is he plays so small. I feel like, he's the biggest guy out there. Not only that, he's actually has size to him. He's not like Evan Mobley, who's a little toothpick. Like he actually is like a big dude who you could tell is like, is really strong, has the build and everything, but he plays almost like he's like this, like he's bringing everything in and he's like a guard almost out there. So I feel like he needs to play big. And then, the 2 that we've mentioned is aggressiveness and confidence slash being afraid to get
Swagger. Can
taken
someone
out.
give this guy some swagger? Maybe that's not who he is. That's not his personality.
Yeah.
But man, if maybe when it comes around Christmas time, we'll talk about the one thing that we wish we could give some of these players. But for Wiseman, I wish I could just give him some swagger. I
Yeah.
want
And
him to.
Wiseman seems like I think a lot of the things that were talked about him during like the draft process is that he's like a really respectful kid. He says all the right things, kind of does all the right things. I think one time he paid for everyone's bill when they took him out to dinner during the draft process. That was like something they pinpointed. And he seems like that, but you want to see like some fire to him. Like that was a
Yeah,
little bit of fire today, throwing the ball in frustration. And we
yeah, that's
haven't
why I didn't
seen
hate
that in
it.
like forever.
I mean, you
So
could say, if you want to go down this way, you could say, "Oh, that 1 point that they got," but I think they missed the free throw. Did they miss the free throw?
who?
I
Oh, they did miss.
Yeah.
They missed a technical free. The Franz missed a
Oh,
technical. I don't
it was the
remember.
Kerr free throw that they missed.
Yeah, and I mean Wiggins missed the wide open layup. You could pinpoint so many different things on that 1 point. I'm not
Yeah, but
putting it on.
I know when you lose by 1 to a bad team, it just seems like, anything